When Harry Met Sally, a photography podcast, would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional owners of the lands and waters in which we are recording this podcast on today. As people who work with artists seeking meaning and knowledge through storytelling, we recognise the first peoples of this nation have been doing so for over 60,000 years. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging across Australia. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.
None of this is possible without the fantastic help we've had from
Collart. Thank you so much for the support on providing your pod suites. Nikon Australia, incredible ambassadors for the photography industry.
And Ted's Camera Store, also great ambassadors, have been around forever and are doing wonderful work. And A&L Artistic Framers, who have been framing photography and art for as many years as I can think. Thank you all so very much. Good morning. How are you, Harriet?
I'm good, Sally. How are you doing?
I did start to sound like a little bit like Robin Williams then, didn't
Yeah,
I? Good
know.
morning.
That's quite the introduction.
Wow, welcome to
When Harry Met Sally.
Oh, I've had a bit of a crazy day. But anyway, it's so lovely to see you again.
You too.
On this episode that we're going to be doing with the gorgeous photographer that I've got in front of us now, which we specifically picked this photographer because throughout the series we've been talking to a variety of people from photojournalism, from documentary, art-based photographers. And one of the questions that I find that I'm often being asked, and and you are too, about people within the industry, like what feeds your soul? Does it make money? How do you make money?
Yeah.
And
finding a balance between your commercial work and your artistic practice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And in times when it's tough, if there is no commercial work around, what is it that you're doing? So this next guest is a really perfect example. I actually can't remember where we met, but I know that you can. This next guest is Aldona Kmieć. How are you, Aldona?
I'm really great
Hi,
today.
welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Where did we first meet, Aldona?
I think it must have been one of the Ballarat Foto Biennales festival.
There you go.
Everything, every road leads to Ballarat.
Leads to there.
Every road leads to Ballarat. It
Yeah.
does indeed. Yeah, you're probably right. I feel like you've always been around, but then it might be a long time. It's typical of our industry before we pick up again. And what I find really fascinating about you and your practice is your photography is so beautiful and so emotional and so free-flowing, which we want to talk about. But the other side of you is very practical, very organised. In fact, I've put you into a position for a couple of weeks to fill in at an ad agency doing project management. And you've also just completed a degree in, is it a diploma or a degree in teaching?
It's a Cert 4 in training and assessment at RMIT, which I did in 6 months. Normally it takes 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah. I just did the most intense version because I just thought 6 months
Because you
is
like
enough.
intensity.
and that's the thing with you. It's kind of like your left and your right brain are just going smash at the same time, which is I find that really fascinating. So first of all, I want to talk about your career, not as a photographer. So what is it that you do when you're not taking photographs and why?
All right. How much time do we have?
We'll cut you off, darling, so don't worry. We'll wind you up if you keep going too long.
So I've had, 101 careers in my life. I guess it probably starts from my upbringing. So I grew up in Poland at a time where we had this, weird time during communism where you couldn't buy anything that was on the shelf. Actually, there was nothing on the shelf in the shops. And then when I was 12, the communism, turned into democracy. The Iron Curtain magically fell and was my kind of everyone's, not a revival. It's just everything's changed. Suddenly, everything was on a shop shelves, but nobody had any money to buy anything. Even toilet paper, couldn't find a toilet paper. in
No.
the shops. So anyway, this kind of situation just really helps you get, a different kind of mode. Maybe not survival, but you become really good at survival and learning skills that you need to survive. For example, I grew up on a dairy farm, so apart from being really good at school, we also had to, help on a farm. So learn practical skills, how to milk a cow, or how to, how to weed 12 hectares of potato fields, and repeat it again 2 months later because the weeds grow too fast. And this kind of life teaches you a lot of things. But I also grew up in a time when internet has just started coming in. So suddenly you just had this Google.
Gosh, it must have blown your mind going on that and looking at the world. And
on a dial-up internet as well.
Well, yeah. I remember dial-up internet.
So very quickly fast forward. So I grew up before and kind of divide my life before and after internet and mobile phones and after. So it's a nice kind of perspective to have because I feel like I can always go back to that time and switch off completely, and I don't feel guilty about it. And I'm not. I don't feel scared about being offline.
It's quite.
It's a gift.
It's quite a luxury, actually, isn't it? To be able to remember a time when we weren't so connected. Remember a time when you couldn't just pick up a phone to distract yourself, when you couldn't just open up your laptop and get any film or any series you wanted at the click of your fingertips.
Yeah.
And to be able to kind of really remember that and acknowledge it and bring that back into the present is actually, I'm realising, being a teacher myself and seeing students coming up who have never experienced that, it is a luxury.
It is a luxury. And interestingly, when you walked in today and I said, now, have you been following my stories on when Harry met Sally? You went, no. And I'm going, what? I haven't looked at, what did you say? I haven't looked at socials for a while. And it's like, righto.
Yeah.
But it all makes sense and it is an important thing to do.
I've listened to all your episodes though, of course.
Oh, thank you.
We will test you on that.
No problem.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So that's
Yeah.
great.
So when was this?
A long time ago. It's kind of like, there was a
in the
completely
90s,
different music.
kind of. Yeah.
Late 80s. I grew up in late 80s.
Yeah.
I was born in 77, so it makes me,
12.
Yeah.
That's okay.
We're similar age.
Just about. So fast forwards, in 2004, Poland joined the European Union, and suddenly, I had this job in Warsaw, where I had to work really hard to earn, to be able to afford a pair of jeans. So expensive. One pair of jeans was so expensive. You had to work 1 month or 2 months to actually afford a pair of jeans. And then,
gosh,
borders opened up, and suddenly I organized 12 job interviews over the internet.
Yeah.
When I moved to London, I actually had 12 job interviews, like literally within the first 2 weeks when I moved there. And I got a job in most of them. And then the salary comparison with Poland, so I could afford like 20 pairs of jeans for 1 month's work. And it just blew my mind. And I just had to really make sure that I don't fall into some kind of trap of buying 50 pairs of jeans in the first.
And at the same time, were your family still back in Poland? And
all my family's in Poland.
Yeah.
So I'm the
Still?
actually, I have a cousin who's kind of a similar black sheep as me. She's a ultra marathon cyclist, like ultra long distance cyclist. She cycles for 6 months of the year. Amazing. She's cycled through the whole Europe, now Mongolia. I think she's venturing out. She's only 20-something. She has a similar kind of freelance profession. She builds websites, and she doesn't have family, and I guess she can do that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
But has a very similar kind of maybe roots and curiosity and I think courage that is required to travel on your own.
Yeah.
On your bicycle for 6 months of the year, sleeping in a tent, and just being with your own in your own company.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
I was in England when Poland entered the EU. And I remember there was a huge influx of Polish people in England that were working, and the work ethic was incredible.
Always.
She was there.
Yeah. So that must have been around about the same time. Maybe not
Yeah.
exactly, but we must have been there at about the same time. But I do remember that, and there's a huge, really. So you obviously have a very hard work ethic right from the beginning.
Yeah, I kind of grew.
I want to know which job you picked after going for 12 interviews.
Oh gosh, I think I picked the worst one. So my parents couldn't afford to send me to university, but I was a terrible kid. I was like getting all sorts of troubles and real tomboy. I was supposed to be a boy apparently, but ended up being a oldest girl. So I hang out with boys and jumped on trees, and just like I had lots of energy. And so my parents sent me to this piano accordion lesson. So I learned to play piano accordion for like 6 or 8 years.
Amazing.
That is fantastic.
So my parents didn't have to, deal with me for, a few hours.
And you were playing the
Because
piano
I had to
accordion.
I did actually bring it to Poland, to Australia.
You did?
Poland
Wow.
in 2017 for one of my photo projects.
Yeah.
Do you still play?
So
it a little
I
bit?
do still play. I don't play
stop.
publicly though, but I could play.
Right. We need to pipe us in for the
the
episode.
next intro episode, music.
Gosh. What a
Yeah.
great way to deal with your kids. Right, you're playing piano accordion.
So I always kind of know that I'm very creative, and I actually read my diaries recently. So for the first time I had the courage to read my diaries, which I started when I was 11 years old. And there was an entry in my diary that one day I will learn English and I'll live somewhere else that's in an English-speaking world.
I've got goosebumps.
So I was like,
Oh wow!
I
Dreams
just
come
found
true.
it, and it was just like, what was it about? I think I just had ear for languages, and I just loved everything that was different because growing up on a dairy farm or any type of farm, it teaches you a lot of like. You've got a wild childhood, and you just want to, try everything, and that curiosity was never. I still have it, that imagination is wild. And I only just about, when I moved to Australia, I actually had time to channel all of this energy into my art. Because before, when I mentioned my parents couldn't afford for me to pay for university, I had to earn my way. So I moved out of home, then moved to UK, had to work, earn money, pay bills, blah, blah, blah. And after a few years of the, earning money, I couldn't cope with the pressure. I woke up one day and said, I can't do it.
And what were you doing, darling? What was the...
I was working in a really good company. Lots of Aussies worked there, lots of Kiwis, Americans. It was an office job. I was dealing with a lot of properties around London. I used to live in London for 6 years. And I just cracked one day, called my boss the next morning, said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm giving you a notice.
Yeah.
And literally 2 days later, I was enrolled in photography, advanced diploma in photography at London Metropolitan University. And that was the start of my story.
So did you always love the idea of the camera? Or, I mean, you talk about being creative, obviously you have musicality in you. Was there something about the camera that drew you, or was that more of a sudden, like, I'm going to do photography?
I think it was all in once. I always wanted to be an architect. I loved being, I think the space and lights is so important for me in my everyday. But how this photography started, I can't actually remember much, but we had this old Smirna cameras, like an old lomographic Russian camera that my dad sometimes used, but very, very rarely. You couldn't buy a film when we grew up.
Yeah.
You can buy a film. But my grandma had this handbag full of photographs, like gelatin prints. We lost them, unfortunately. But when I was a kid, I used to go to my grandma and said, Grandma, can you tell me the story about these pictures?
Yeah.
And there was like 54 pictures, whatever. And I remembered the stories for like, one day, and then go back, go the next day. I said, Grandma, can you tell me a story about this? Because it was magic.
Yeah.
Did Grandma say the same stories? Did she make up new stories?
No, I don't remember.
I hope she made up new
The
stories.
stories, my grandparents were in the labor camps in Germany during the war, survived the Second World War, so they had lots of stories. And my grandpa was very affected, so he couldn't really talk about, his emotions. He was a very angry man.
Yeah.
So the stories were just like full of, completely different life. And I can't remember a single story, but I remember these gelatin prints and the storytelling elements.
And where had they come from? The prints? Had she collected them, or were they must have taken them, or
someone took photos. Who that was, we have no idea.
What a shame you lost the bag. Don't you hate that?
So many things got lost in Poland during the war. So that kind of we still have a few photos that exist in a digital format. Someone in the family kept few copies, so that connection was always really, really tactile.
It's such a magic porthole into a different time and place, isn't it? A photograph.
Yeah,
I've been collating my family photographs for the last 4 or 5 years. It's just I go down memory lane every time. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
There's no other word for it.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my God, I remember that, or I never knew about this, and So how did you end up? So you've done that. You've gone, see your boss. I'm out of here. I'm melting down, and I'm going to take photos. So that's great. And so you started the course in photography.
Yeah.
And were you working at the same time as that? What were you doing?
For the first 3 months, I thought, maybe I'm not going to work, because I had, help from the government in form of a, study like help that's here. For the first 3 months, I didn't work. I just walked around the streets, and I didn't actually talk much to anyone. I just observed. I just saw so many different situations. When you go to work, morning rush time, you see a completely different thing on the street. And when you actually go out at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. to watch people, they're completely different people.
Yeah.
They're tourists, they're mums with kids, older people. A completely different side of London that I haven't seen before. So I was just struck with this, change. So fast forward, I ended up going just before our final exhibition. Last minute decision, like literally within 24 hours, I flew to Sri Lanka and Tokyo for several days with a friend of mine. I had a project, like final project exhibition idea, but I decided to scrap that and take a risk. I thought it was too boring. I'm going to take a risk, go to completely somewhere else new. I don't know anything. I don't know the language. I don't have a mobile phone. There's no Google Maps.
Yeah.
You just go there. There's nothing in English, and you have to find it. But being lost in translation, preparing to the film. I had the most amazing time photographing. I met lots of people on the streets. I went to the sumo tournament, and I was just like, what is this?
What is happening?
I felt so safe, and I photographed a lot. I ended up putting this very, very quick exhibition that was just out there, composited 24 photos into one really cool landscape. And I won the main exhibition prize. I won a beautiful collectible Hasselblad at that time. It just blew my mind.
Yeah.
And I think I talked to one of the judges then, and I said, do you think I should do photography for living? It's and he said, oh, God.
Oh, my God.
The $1 million question.
We've just given this girl the award, and she wants to become a vet.
I had so much doubt, as, no confidence. That's why I went to school, to get, confidence, can I actually do that? Because obviously I could do that, but I just had to believe that I could do that.
And hopefully that judge was encouraging.
He was very encouraging.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't remember his name, but I remember his face. He said, you should totally do photography. Now that you want this beautiful camera.
Give it back.
But I ended up, I wanted to continue my studies into, bachelor and master's. And then I was in the middle of applying for Australian visa. And for anyone who ever applied for a visa to this country, it's a huge process.
Yeah.
And once you get this visa, you've got 6 months to enter. So no more studies for me. It's you've got to enter.
Why Australia?
6 months. I met an Australian guy, my former partner there in London. We've been together for a few years. And the question came up, what do we do next? His visa was running out. And it's okay, I'm curious about this country, but leaving a family on the other continent is a huge decision. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a shot, and I can always come back. But as everyone knows, I mean, it's once you get it, it's not so easy to move
It's hard
back.
to leave again, yeah.
It's so far.
Yeah.
And it's I found my freedom here, and I found finally I had time to actually put all this energy that I had and all the time in the world that I had, finally to put into something and start thinking, okay, what do I want to do? Well, first of all, I had to, set up ABN and start doing photos and wedding photography. And actually, what I did, we didn't end up moving to Melbourne, although we lived in Melbourne in the first 3 months. Then moved to Queensland for a little while, where I tried to learn surfing and just learn as much about Australia, different kind of Australia.
How did you go surfing?
I had a big scar on my thigh, but
Okay.
I did stand up a few times. So that was a
Good girl.
success. Took some good photos on the Gold Coast, and made a decision to actually, instead of studying and putting all money into education, I was thinking, okay, what do we need? We need to live somewhere, right? And we decided that we actually can't afford living in Melbourne, so maybe we could afford somewhere outside of Melbourne. And Ballarat appeared on a map, which I've never been to Ballarat. My partner's never been to Ballarat, and we decided to give it a shot.
Yeah.
And literally just made the decision to move to a regional place without knowing anyone there.
Wow.
So it was like, one of those decisions just so familiar in my life. Take a risk.
Yeah.
And just work with it.
Yeah.
Donna, I
Wow.
just had no idea about all of this. This is blowing my mind.
Yeah,
it's
it's amazing.
a beautiful story, and it really makes sense about who you are as a person.
Yeah.
so.
These experiences in your childhood and growing up, and that toughness that you shine through with all of your beauty and all of your friendliness. There is this underlying, don't fuck with me toughness. Which I've always admired and been a little bit scared of, but I get it now, right?
Yeah.
I get it.
I think you learn to, manage your life and prioritize what's important and don't focus on something that isn't, because you can always do it later if you want to. But I think the real story is like when I lived in Ballarat, I straight away started volunteering. And I'm a good problem solver. So, what is the problem that needs to be solved? Okay, I don't know anyone in Ballarat. How do I meet people in Ballarat? Oh, look up what's there to do. Like,
I'll
there was
climb
a
a tree.
photography festival there. Like,
There's a photography festival. What?
there's a photography festival which has an office just literally 5 minutes walk from my house. Why don't I just knock on the door one day and Jeff Morford opens and it's like, can I volunteer?
Can I,
And did
can
you
I
think,
come and work for you?
Jesus has arrived?
It was amazing. It was amazing. It's I got to meet a lot of people.
But this is something that we notice when we're talking to the guests that come in here, the people that have really gone for it and just put themselves on the line and just walked down the road and said, I'll do some volunteering for you, or, put their portfolios on agents' desks or in newsrooms. They're the ones that are getting the work. Because,
Well, it's about that courage to do it, isn't it? And that confidence
absolutely.
that
You've got to have that tenacity to...
Yes, the tenacity, yeah, absolutely, Harry. And you talked about confidence as well. Like,
Which I have
nobody's
none.
going to do it for you if you don't do it for yourself. And we want to be around confident, positive, happy, can-do people, and the fact that you went in there and you got Jeffrey organised and, and just organised stuff. And you're right, that's where I did meet you.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Well, I certainly remember you up there, and it's like, just ask Aldona, she'll know where I'm meant to be.
I'm glad you have good memories.
Yeah, I have good memories.
You are still very much focused on photography as a career at this point.
Yes, I will never stop that.
Yeah.
Like I decided a long time ago that it's one of mine.
Yeah. But you
mediums
do...
of expressions, yeah.
Yeah. But you do have a...
That and piano accordion. I'm loving that. Sorry, Harry.
That's okay.
No, I'll be serious now.
But you do have other careers as well.
Yeah,
So
you
what
have
was
to.
it that you, why did you decide to take on the producing role, the digital marketing, the teaching now? Why did you decide to kind of diversify and be multi-talented like this? Why didn't you just throw everything into photography?
Yeah, problem solving again, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a mortgage to be paid, it.
Yeah.
And you know, I was doing a lot of weddings, and I was, you know, getting
Ballarat?
really tired in Ballarat, in Melbourne, all over the place. And I took some beautiful photographs for people. I'm still friends with those people,
Yeah,
so I
lovely.
did something right.
Yeah.
And I really cherish those memories, because I always felt like I was a guest at the wedding,
Yeah.
not a working photographer. And that what I really cherished about those jobs. I decided, you know, it was really hard to make money of photography, you know, living in Ballarat, blah, blah, blah. We were still not, you know, we were not thinking of moving to Melbourne. And I decided, okay, just something's got to change. And I started looking for jobs. It was hard to find a job, actually. That's probably why I started doing photography, is because I couldn't find a job in Ballarat. That's why I started volunteering, just like, you know, meeting a lot of people. But fast forward, I was living in East Gippsland as well, because I love living in regional areas, far from the city, not like I am doing now at the moment.
With the cows.
The cows, photographing a lot of the landscapes and learning what kind of people live there, and met Rachel Mounsey, who's now with Oculi, and lots of great people. So my life took me to lots of different places, but fast forward to 2019, I moved to Melbourne, and pandemic started. And I had, you know, by the time I had really well-developed digital skills and project management skills. And I got into producing websites and working for other people. And, you know, a few years earlier, I decided, okay, I need to, you know, find an employment, because I just didn't have energy to do any more weekend work. And I wanted to work Monday to Friday. I guess that's the reason. I wanted to, you know.
Bit of consistency. And
just, have a bit of a break from photography from Ballarat as well. But still, apart from, you know, doing a full-time work, I was still doing photography. I mean, I could never stop. Once you are a photographer or artist, or it's part of who you are, you can't really stop that. Pandemic started, and the next, you know, few years I was just doing that. Then I quite recently suffered a massive burnout. Like 2 years after the pandemic, I just realized I can't work anymore. I just need to have a break. And I was in a position that I could take the break and focus on my art. So that's when I started maybe doing some other work, like learning how do I actually write a good grant application that would perhaps fund my next project. And, you know, many grant applications later and months of work. So I kept getting rejected. I remember my first application was so bad. I mean, English is a non-speaking, you know, language.
It's not your first language,
It's just hard, and I was just giving up. But finally, you know, my partner's really, really supportive. He's a great writer, actor and filmmaker, and he was a very harsh critic of my writing.
That's good. Yeah, it's good.
But this is who you need. Like, you can't just live in your head. You need to have the courage to ask other people to tell you what they really think about it. And I'm not afraid to hear, you shit at this, or like, you did this not really well. Can you improve, you know, some of this, or blah, blah, blah. So this is exactly what I needed, to find someone who would tell me exactly what I did wrong and how I can fix it, and then work to, you know, to fix it. So I guess that leads me to my last successful grant application, which is City of Melbourne, which I got last year for my next exhibition, which will happen this year in November, December at the Melbourne City Library Gallery. It's going to be called Hills Hoist. And it's about my memories from Poland and Australia. So
did you have Hills Hoists in Poland?
No, we did not.
Okay.
And when I moved to Australia and found one,
how fabulous are they?
It was just
they're
incredible.
amazing. They're so iconic and so nostalgic.
Yes,
and
absolutely. And huge congratulations for.
Yeah.
And can you believe it? Do you feel like you own it? No. It's a bit like that.
Like, oh no, really?
Yeah.
But it's so important for people to hear. You know, that you failed at many grants, you know, because I think as creatives, we're not necessarily, our brains are not wired that way to suddenly, like I said to you earlier, I open a grant and I immediately want to fall asleep because I just can't handle the form, you know?
And rejection is such a hard thing, and you do take it personally. We talked also with Harry at the very beginning of this season about having burnout and meltdown, and we've all done it at certain points of our life, and it's okay. You know, but the most important thing is to acknowledge it, and what are you going to do about it?
Exactly. And ask for feedback. Ask for feedback. That's the most important thing.
And then we sort of came back into each other's lives by coming and working with me and having a conversation about your other career, not photography, really, wasn't it? Or did you come? You came to talk about your photography.
We ended up talking about something completely
and then I ended up putting you in
different.
an agency for a little while. But it was about talking about your photography and what are you going to do with it. It's just beautiful,
Thank you.
your work. Just before we move on, do you know the dates for your exhibition so we can talk to the audience here
I
about?
do. I think the opening is on the 14th of November 2025 till the 7th of December. It's on my website.
And what is your website, Aldona?
AldonaKmieć.com, but no one remembers it, so just Google Aldona.
And that's,
Aldona.
and I'm going to spell it out
Australia,
because I've
whatever.
learnt this. I'm going to do it. It's ALDONA and then KMIEC
EC.com. Yeah.
and .com. So the 14th of November, and it's at the Melbourne...
City Library Gallery on Flinders Lane,
Yes.
upstairs. It's a beautiful space.
Right, and
which
my
you'd be right.
invitation is in the post.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
What month do we have? March? I just
I
got
like to be organised, darling.
I just got a commitment from my first sponsor for this exhibition, so I'm super excited.
That's so
You know, I always thought if you don't ask, you'll never get. So I just ask people, can you sponsor this part of my exhibition? I'd really love to work with you.
So you've received a grant for it that you applied for, and then you've got sponsorship as well. So that's
for parts
really
of
great.
the more technical kind of elements of because it's going to be partly installation of photography and partly just installation. It's a completely experimental project where I will. I'm actually going to Poland for the summer to collaborate with my younger sister on a farm.
Amazing.
Because
Is she an artist as well?
she's not an artist, but she doesn't know that she's not. That she is an artist. She's amazing. She can do a lot of things. But what I really want to photograph is one of the probably last harvests on the farm because the environment is changing. We've had so many throughout, my life, 21 years on a farm. We've had so many droughts and, lost crops and everything. It's getting worse and worse. So I think my family will probably stop farming soon.
Wow.
So, and I just realized if I don't photograph now, I'll
It'll
probably
be
never do
gone.
it.
Yeah. Wow.
And
Amazing.
on that note, you said you were the eldest. How many are you the eldest of?
Of three. Three
Okay.
girls. Yep.
And the other two girls are still there?
Yep. Everyone's still there.
Yeah.
Everyone's still there.
And mum and dad must be so proud of you that you've come across.
I think they are. Although it's hard to have them so far away.
Yeah. Have they been out to visit you ever?
Yes. Yeah. I had that last time 2019, just before the pandemic, and my parents both came in 2012.
Right.
So it was
That must have been enormous for them to come over.
beautiful. Me and my partner went there last year for a month of -17, beautiful white snow, Christmas, and I just could not believe how magical the time was.
Oh, wow.
We walked in the forest, in the snow for
And he's
2 hours
Aussie?
a day. He's Aussie, but he learned Polish.
Oh,
that's
good
what he
on
did.
him. Well
When we
done.
Love him.
Yeah.
He's got talent. I mean, he's an actor. He's a trained actor, and he can. He
can learn
always
lines
makes
and-
jokes of my accent, so I guess he's got plenty of material at home. But he's pretty good at learning languages. So I was really proud that I didn't have to translate all the time to my parents.
Yeah. And sorry, you go, Harry.
No.
Oh, I was going to say, so this exhibition that we're talking about, what's it about?
Yeah.
It's Hills Hoist.
Yeah.
Well, I wish I knew 100% what it's all about. I know
I
the
love
one
that.
part. One part of it I know
Is the
The
farm.
second part, that's the kind of idea what I'm not sure. The Australian part is it's been there for some time.
Yeah.
And the collaboration with my sister, I have no idea what it's going to look like, feel like, or what it's actually going to be. It's going to be a combination of photography, textiles, some kind of embroidery, perhaps.
Wow.
And
This is
installed
so
on a Hills
interesting
Hoist.
because this is all I wanted to talk to you about your process, and I think like there's so many multiple aspects of process, right?
Yeah.
There's the process of actually putting on an exhibition and what you have to do to go about that, but then there's the artistic process as well. And so it sounds like for this exhibition, you've gone through a process of getting a grant.
Yeah.
You've got some sponsorship. You don't quite know what the exhibition's about though, so can you sort of talk to I don't know how you want to start that, but talk to the process and like how the creativity builds, but then how do you apply for a grant when the idea is not fully formed yet?
Excellent question.
Thanks.
Yeah. There's a skeleton, so I always know what things should feel like.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing for me. What should it feel? What kind of thing I want people to experience? So that's the most important. Then I work around that. I think some of the projects that's how I work. And but also this project is about discovery and experimentation. And it takes huge courage to live in this ambiguity and give yourself time. You know, I'm a good organizer. That's why I just like, okay, first I need the grant, I need to have everything confirmed. I need to have money to pay for this, and this. And then, you know, this idea has been brewing for pretty much as soon as I moved to Australia.
Yeah.
That kind of, you know,
So
duality
you've got
that
the base of it.
Yeah, I needed to get the base right. And now it's time to think creatively. What is it that I want people to experience during this, you know, exhibition? Have a feel for the photography. There is gonna be a connection with that little handbag that my grandma had with that, you know, photographs.
Yeah.
That's a very important element of that, and that memory, how much it meant for me. This kind of what I saw in these images, the story that I listened. So I don't know how it's gonna work yet. But the skeleton's there, and that's what I'm kind of focusing on.
Well, we totally get it. Like when you think about it,
I'm like falling into your words.
I
I'm
know.
just loving it.
Oh yeah, that's another beautiful expression. But we did a similar thing when we started this. We had no idea. We did. We had well, as you said, a skeleton of what we wanted to do and who we wanted to talk with, but we had no idea about podcasting. But it's just like, let's get everything together and let's build it and then work it out later.
Yeah.
And it's and the beautiful thing about photography and about art and the process is that everybody attacks it so differently. Like you think about in the first season how Samantha Everton attacks her. Well, attacks is a big word, but you know, her process is so totally different, and that is what is so unique and gorgeous. And for someone like you that is so, as I said, the left and right brain when you're working in your other world. Are you currently doing that at the moment?
No, I'm totally focusing on exhibition
wonderful.
and, you know, logistics.
Yeah.
How do I do this? How do I do this? And
I think having the confidence to just know that creativity is coming and it's there, and just giving yourself the space, and that comes with a bit of age and a bit, you know, where like when you see these emerging artists come out from, you know, college and they're like, I just need to do it all now, and you're like, you've got time, you know, and just knowing that that's going to happen and giving yourself that time and space to just really sit in that. That's
And you could just, as a teacher, like as Harry said, just falling into your words as a teacher, I think you've got so much to give, not just about your own practice, but about actually just being a hardworking, tenacious person that came from literally a farm with nothing. You know, and those stories of, you know, it takes a month's wages to buy a pair of jeans, and it's like, it's not something that kids like that often people will hear. And tenacity and, you know, being handed everything on a silver spoon is not what it's all about. And look where you've come and how much, you know, how proud everyone is of you, and it's just beautiful. It really is.
Farms are best.
Like I really
are.
take, you know, my hat off to you. I think it's an extraordinary process. And to be able to go back and do the last crop, is what you said?
The last harvest.
The last
Yes.
harvest.
So
I mean,
beautiful.
that's the name, right? The last harvest.
But you know what?
Does your sister as beautiful as you?
can show you a photo.
Oh, that means
Got
yes.
2 sisters.
Yeah,
And showing my hippie parents when they were in there, long hair and looked amazing.
fantastic. Oh, it's just going to be so wonderful. But then there's the journey after that of the selling of the farm, and there's going to be all of that emotion going on as well too.
I don't think they will ever sell it. It's been in the family for over 200 years.
Wow.
I think.
Do you think one of the sisters will take it on?
Well, my youngest sister took it on 10 years ago already. But in Poland it's very usual that people live very close to each other. So there's a house next to my parents' house, and we've got 160 acres. So there's so much land. I mean, the community there is so welcoming, and whenever I come for visits, and the word spreads really fast.
Yeah.
Aldona's on holiday. So suddenly it's just lots of invitations to, primary school reunions as we did last year.
Oh,
it's
beautiful.
really, so it's like moving back in time almost into a completely different reality. And that's what I also really cherish.
Please tell me that your partner, the filmmaker, is wanting to do a film about this.
Gosh, how many lives do
What's
we have?
his name? Oh my gosh. That would just, I'm there. I'm right in the middle of the book. I'm reading it now. I'm thinking, I can see it. This is fantastic. Aldona, I hate to say, but I think it's coming towards the end of our time with you. I could just keep listening to you about everything.
Thank you.
But we do have a question that we've been talking to and asking everybody in this particular season. And Harry's going to ask you that now.
Oh, I'm asking.
Do you like that?
Okay. So it is, what does the future hold for you? What do you think the future holds for you, but for photography?
I don't know what future holds for me. I hope, some many more years of focusing on my art and giving. What does it mean for photography, AI and everything? I think people will still need good photographers to take really good photos.
Yeah.
And it's I always think about gardening. There's a lot of people in the world that try to garden, but they just can't. So you have to hire a gardener to actually help them with that. And I think you've got the good skills to be a gardener, you'll survive, because there are really good skills to have as well. So I think that analogy is so true of photography. People still value really good photographs and your skills. It's just not about photography or vision. It's about who you are as a person. It's about your authenticity, your original ideas. And I think this will never be replaced, or it shouldn't, in my opinion.
Oh, look at us
Amazing.
both. We're almost a little bit just keep talking. Wow, great. Well, let's hope it is. Let's hope it is. And we're really looking forward to November the 14th to the 7th of December.
Yeah.
Hills Hoist.
Yes.
And I'm sure our audience will be going in and you'll be there throughout that time.
I'll be there. I love reading books as well. So there's a library downstairs. There's beautiful cafes all around Flinders Lane, so I'm sure. Yeah,
Beautiful.
It's very close from Flinders Station. So
Well, just have an amazing year, just, being creative and really leaning into it and just enjoying
going back
the
to
whole
Poland.
process.
Oh, my gosh. When do you go back?
planning July.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
to get ready for the harvesting, get some fit, fit condition.
They're going to make you harvest.
Of course.
That's right.
Yeah,
Mum
of
and Dad are
course.
going,
Yeah.
you're not here taking pretty pictures, girlfriend. You're going to be getting out.
there in the dust.
Yeah,
for sure.
fantastic. Oh, well, we look forward to hearing how it all goes and seeing what becomes of it all. Thank you so much for your time
We'll
today.
Be there. We'll be there at
we
the
will so
exhibition,
be
yeah.
there.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Aldona.
Thanks, Aldona.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you next time, Sal.
Okay, see you, Dylan. Bye.
Bye.
Wow, wasn't that another fantastic episode?
So much fun.
And Harry, none of this is possible without the fantastic help we've had from, take it away.
Shaquille Raymond, what a rock star audio engineer.
I like that. Martin Stevens, my husband, for his guitar prowess on the intros and outros. And Shani Power, who is doing all of the behind-the-scenes photos and design of everything to do with the Instagram posts. Thank you all so very much to help us get our podcast out.
We'll see you on the next one.
We will. It's been wonderful, Harry. Thanks, darling. Bye-bye.
Bye.